I'll make it quick. But I just want to say thank you for all the anxiety recovery support stuff because it has really, really been helping me. It's been a real blessing. So thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
For, yes, my question is, I was doing really well with containment. My problem's been I had COVID and I started having panic attacks. I don't know if it was the COVID that set me off. Um, so I had two bad panic attacks, and then I was very sensitized for quite a long time. Everything would make me go into like a mini panic attack.
Yeah.
And so I went to the doctors, and they put me on. I think it's Lexapro in America, escitalopram in the UK, where I am, and that sort of made it so I can live my life. I'm a mum, so I've been able to do everything with my children, but I just have like I call them anxiety waves, quite intense feelings of fear and anxiety come over me. And I've been doing quite well with containment, just sort of saying it's just adrenaline, it's just cortisol, I'm okay. I don't need to go off on the thoughts of, oh, you'll never get better. I'm trying not to get involved in them thoughts. But then I saw a video on YouTube. It was based on Claire Weeks's things.
Yeah.
And it was sort of saying how you need to let all of the thoughts come flowing through and not stop them. And it just made me concerned that maybe I'm not getting better in the right way, if you know what I mean. It sort of freaked me out a bit. Is containing sort of like resisting, or what are your views on that?
Yeah, and that's a common question. There is a school of thought that you just let everything come and you don't question it, you don't react to it. I'm not a fan of that because then we don't ever deal with the fears head on. We just sort of let things play and we're not really in control of what we think. Because when you think about anxiety, it's all about thinking. Thinking you're in danger, period. If you were to move that thinking piece, we wouldn't be anxious. And so how do we eliminate that once we become an anxious? Oh, sorry. How do we eliminate that once we become anxious? Well, we have to change our thinking, and we change our thinking by intervening when our negative thoughts show up and replacing them with positive, confident thoughts. And as we do that, that becomes our learned behavior. Because to think about it, most of us have learned how to behave anxiously from when we're kids. As mentioned earlier, we develop belief systems as children. We don't have therapists walking with us and telling us what's true and what's not true. We base it on our opinions. That forms our belief system. And then we live our life that way, thinking that's the way we should be living. Our parents are models for us, and so on and so forth. And a lot of times we grow up with those really negative thinking patterns that we think are normal. And so what we want to do is by containing, we do stop the anxious thinking and replace it with positive thinking. And as we do that, the positive approach to life becomes the predominant way we live rather than the anxious approach. And we can only do that by being deliberate. Now, again, some schools of thought suggest you don't do that because you're creating resistance. You don't want to be doing all these things. I just think that's a really unhealthy way of becoming successful. If you don't change the belief systems and thinking patterns, you're always going to be anxious. And sure, we can become really good at letting them go through, but that's not really going to be helpful when we really feel threatened, right? So thought stopping, switching out, learning belief systems, making healthy change is how we overcome anxiety issues for good.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, because I've been having a lot of success with it. I find I can shut them off and calm down quite easily. I'm a Christian and I like to sort of imagine Jesus walking towards me and calming me down. And
nice.
it has been helping a lot. So, but then when I saw that, I thought, oh no, am I doing it wrong? And I'm not going to get better. And the thoughts started to spiral then.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. No, I'm a firm believer in making wholesale change. I mean, I've seen so many success stories based on that change, including myself. I grew up also in an anxious family. My parents would flip out every time I have any kind of medical issue. And so I became health sensitive and especially when I established a lot of fears, dizziness, symptoms here and there, having panic attacks in different places, really shortened my life up. So the only way I could regain that is by going back and challenging those negative thinking patterns and saying, no, I'm good. Yeah, I had that, but this is a stress response. Don't have to react to it. It's going to feel this way for a while, settle down, it'll go away. And all those successes start to build your confidence. And so when the fear thought flashes initially, it's like, no, I've been good here in the past little while. I know what this is. I'm doing good. And eventually you start forgetting the fear stuff and you just start venturing into, and you don't even think about it anymore. Next thing you know, you're living a normal life. But the difference is your belief system is different. You cope with life completely differently, which sets us free from anxiety.
Yeah. With me, it's the fear of fear, because I've had that panic attack. I'm just scared of going back to that place. So it's the fear of the feeling of fear. I'm quite fortunate. Obviously, listening to the call, I can see how much worse it can get. I'm quite fortunate that the only thing I struggle with is the fear itself. I've not got any symptoms or anything. So,
good for you.
Yeah, that's what I need to try and extinguish, just so I'm not scared of that feeling of fear. Yeah. It's really hard to explain.
Yeah. It's very common. That's very, very common. And so, just by extinguishing that, I'm afraid. So what? My body's responding the way it's supposed to. That's good, but I don't have to be afraid here. And then we move on. And so good.
And chapter 4 of your website is pretty awesome. I was rereading that this morning, the chapter 4. Isn't that on containment? And anyway, it's a good chapter to read, Laura.
It's been 6. So helpful to me. Chapter 6. Yes, it's been really helpful. Containing fear and everything. So just a last quick one is, so now I'm starting to do better and the fear is coming up sort of less and less. It's bad in the morning, but it eases off. Am I okay just to switch off from learning about anxiety? Because it's like for the last year, I've been suffering for a year. It's pretty much become my full-time job, researching and learning about anxiety and watching videos and trying so hard to make myself get better. But I feel like I've got the information now, but am I safe to stop researching and just go out and live my life now? Or I don't know what I'm asking.
No, that's a great question. Absolutely. Because there is a time where we have to switch off from struggling with anxiety to just living life and then just using the tools we know. Because if we keep our focus on anxiety all the time, well, it's just going to be another source of anxiety. So live your life, use the tools you have. And if at any point down the road you want to, new information, then you can check back in. But definitely live your life. I'm a big proponent of living your life the best you can, in consideration what we have to deal with. Certainly managing stress well, but otherwise, living your life well.
Yeah, it's sort of like a compulsion. If I turn my back on it, is it going to sneak up on me? But I know that's not how it works, is it? I create it by worrying about it. So if I go and live my life and don't worry about it, I'll probably do better.
Well, worry is our nemesis, isn't it? So if we just deal with worry, we're good.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to trust the Lord with every single worry and just go out.
Good for you. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yes, but thank you. You've been helping me so much. So I'll let other people talk now. Thank you.
Well, you're more than welcome. Unfortunately, I have to end. With my hip, I have a certain sit time and I've reached it. So thank you all for joining the conversation. It was great chatting with you. And we're going to have obviously more of these now more frequently. All that writing is done. So I look forward to next time. And if we're struggling with symptoms, there's stressors there somewhere. Dealing with those stressors will get rid of that so your body can recover. A lot of times we underestimate the stress that keep us going. We focus more on the symptoms and why they're still there rather than just getting that stress down. So if there's a word to everyone, it's just work on stress reduction and don't make this bigger than it needs to be.
Thank you.
God bless everyone.
Thank you, Jim. God bless you.
Bye.
Nice seeing you guys. Until next time. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.